partner organizations for giving me the opportunity of being into this forum. The topic chosen is Skill India. It's a very important topic and very pet topic, current topic, burning topic. It's a very important topic. Honorable Prime Minister, few days back, when he announced national policy on skill development and entrepreneurship, he made a very important observation. If China is the factory for the entire globe, India will be human resource capital for the entire globe. Presently, whether India is human resource capital for the entire globe, are we really in true sense human resource capital? Whether we are having human beings or human resources? Are they resources? What is a resource? What is a resource? When a human being becomes a human resource? Whether people who are in the jails are human beings or human resources? Whether people who are idle are not doing anything, not contributing to the economy, whether they are human beings, are they human beings? They are human beings. People not contributing, people who are idle, people, if they keep quiet also, I consider them as human beings. If they are doing dacoity, robbery, if they are murderers, if they are rapists, are they human beings? Are they human beings? They are not. Come to villages. I tell you, go to villages, see true India, real India. 10 people, youngsters, if they mind they can change the destiny of this country. They sit on a katta, talk all nonsense things about the village. Women are afraid to come near them and then pass through the roads. Is it not the reality? Are they human beings? What can we do to transform this scenario and make every village as a very developed village, every human being a very productive human being, contributing human being, great human being, good human being? Can't we do this? What is required to do this? Very simple task. What can we do? You know, in volume, in sheer number, we are the biggest population in the globe as a country. Very huge population we have. Whether every human being who is part of that population contributes to the economy of his village or his vicinity, economy of the state, economy of the country, economy of the globe, whether he is contributing or not. What is the degree, what is the ratio of his contribution to the economy is very important. In this context, we have to look at the education system of the country for all this. It is not the training, it is not the skilling at the later stages of human life cycle. Human beings' life cycle starts at a very early age. We have the mythological story of Abhimanyu also. When Subhadra, when Abhimanyu was in the womb of the mother, he overheard Lord Krishna talking. Krishna's wisdom he could listen by being in the womb of his mother. And then when Krishna asked a question, mother was sleeping, but Abhimanyu answered by being in the womb. There is a story, mythological story. I don't know whether that was true at that point of time, but it is now very true. Now also it is true, because education of a human being starts from the very embryonic stage. The day zygote is formed, from that stage on education begins. How a mother thinks, what a mother eats. From that stage on, embryonic growth, from that stage on, human beings' education starts. If you want to skill India or knowledge India, you will have to start from that stage, isn't it? Do we have safe homes for mothers in this country? Whether every mother in this country is happy, whether every woman in this country is happy in their homes, not outside in the society. I am not asking whether every home is a true home in its true sense, or whether every would be woman, mother, comfortable, happy. How many broken homes are not there? How many quarrelsome husbands, brothers, fathers, father-in-laws, mother-in-laws, outlaws, in-laws are also there, outlaws are also there. It starts from there. We have to start from there, and then coming forward to a stage during the freedom movement, national freedom movement of this country, Mahatma Gandhi, he was a great educationist. He was not just a freedom fighter, he was not just a philosopher, he was also an educationist. He gave a concept of basic education. How many of you are aware? I don't know. Basic education. He propagated the idea of basic education, fundamental education. He said the crafts, the vocation, the profession, the occupation that is practiced by their family in their environment be taught in the school. What is required for a real life be taught in the school. That is the concept of basic education of Mahatma Gandhi. Did we purchase that idea and implement that? We negated that. We said Mahatma Gandhi, he is a freedom fighter, he is not an educationist. Let us not purchase his idea. In 2015, we are suddenly talking about Skill India. 1930s, 1940s, when Mahatma Gandhi spoke about basic education, we said that is irrelevant. We will go for general education, knowledge-oriented education. What is the use of knowledge-oriented education? A BA graduate who puts in 15 years of learning, at the end of the BA, what is his contribution to the economy? What can he really do? Can he contribute? Can he work in an industry? Can he do agriculture? Can he serve the service industry? A BA graduate, a BSc graduate, BCom graduate. Well, okay, you forget this. What about the quality of a BE graduate? What about the quality of a MBBS graduate today? Can he do a very clinically precise surgery without any errors? Whether he has the skill of doing a surgery, precise, very clinically pakka surgery, how many doctors are there? Go to every hospital, there is complaint. Nurse, there is complaint. Technician, there is complaint. Engineer, there is complaint. Where we have erred, where we need to start the process of skilling India. And then it is not that Mahatma Gandhi propagated basic education and we negated it. And the man who became later president of this country, Zakir Hussain, he studied the whole idea of Mahatma Gandhi's basic education, and he came out with a beautiful proposition of Nai Talim. How many of you are aware? I don't know. Nai Talim, that was the idea. He gave a beautiful educational framework for this country. He said this framework, if adopted by this country, it brings a beautiful future for this country. Zakir Hussain. We negated that idea also. And in Karnataka state and in few states of the country, of course, this was not taken. But then we had during high school days, during primary school days only, what is called as junior technical schools were there. Are you aware? In Karnataka state, some 6 to 7 junior technical schools are functioning. JTS, they are called as JTS, junior technical schools. Immediately after 7th pass, whatever is today taught in ITIs, is taught in 8th, 9th and 10th, junior technical schools. At the end of 16th year of the boy or girl, they are fit to work in an industry. If there is an immediate need for skills, at the end of 16th years, the boy or girl will be fit to serve industry or service sector, wherever. Junior technical schools. And if you look at people who take admission there, ruralites, poor families, people who feel that no, I cannot afford general education, such people will go and learn in JTS, junior technical schools. Coming to the Prime Minister's area now, the present Prime Minister is very much fascinated about this. After high school, we have this ITIs, isn't it? What is that? Industrial Training Institutes. Now he says that ITIs are more important than IITs. Prime Minister's statement, it is his own statement. ITIs are more important than IITs. If T is in between, it is IIT. If T is at the end, it is IIT. Isn't it? You want now T? No, if you keep it at the end, it is IIT. If you can have it now, then it is ITI, isn't it? ITIs. I will tell you the reality of ITIs also. How many people are serious? How many people who manage or who run ITIs are serious? Industry relevant courses. Are there? Do we have really industry relevant courses run by ITIs? Do you know the curriculum or syllabus of ITIs? 20-year-old syllabus. Do you know the teacher's quality and qualification? 20 years back he has passed his either diploma or BE. After that, not even one journal he has read. And libraries are not there in IITs because they feel that nobody should read in IITs. Only he has to do the job work of the rust steel rod he has to take and brush it all the day. And do you know the kind of hands-on experience they give? Come to the rural ITIs, I will show you. One small broken building, 2 teachers sitting on the katta outside, because inside there is no teacher's staff room. And we speak of, what is it? Skill India. Can you skill India by having such institutions? No good infrastructure, no quality teachers, no good curricular framework, no teaching methodology, no evaluation methodology, and exam